This is Jamal Thomas. Welcome to the Progressive Soapbox. So it's official. It is completely official. The Democratic Party has all walked off of a cliff. I hereby pronounce the Democratic Party dead on arrival. They have chosen Tom Perez as the DNC chair. That is amazing. That's amazing. Yeah, man, that's absolutely amazing. It's as if they just kind of made the decision to say, yeah, we don't care what these people are saying. And see, I don't know if it's one of those things where they're just completely unaware, like in a bubble, where they just don't know that how much they're despised. Like I don't know if they get that yet, like for the most part. Part of me feels like they have to get it because otherwise they wouldn't be using this unity thing. The unity thing sounds absolutely absurd. You know what I mean? It's like, why pretend so hard that there's unity if there's unity? It's like it's like how many words do we, how often do you say air? Through the course of a day. So they gotta know. They have to. Which means they just still, even knowing full well that people despise them, they didn't care. They still went with Perez. That's amazing. That's absolutely telling, right? Keith Ellison was really the only possible choice. They've lost millions of members, the Democratic Party. And whether they realize it or not, a schism was created in the party. And I would make the argument an unresolvable schism. So understand what took place. For the longest time, the Democratic Party, they've had this attitude of, well, we're doing you a favor, almost. And for this, I'm being specific to progressives. It's like, where else are you going to go? Where else are you going to go? You're going to vote for Republicans? They're monsters. What are you going to do? And like a battered spouse, be it man or woman, that for whatever reason needs that other party as if their life depends on it. So it doesn't matter what they do. They're beat. They're kicked. They're left out in the cold. They're mistreated. They're treated unfairly. And yet they can still go back. This has been going on for 20, 30 years. Progressives have always stayed, regardless of the situation that took place, regardless of the betrayals, regardless of the number of civilians Obama would murder, regardless of not holding Bush accountable after killing upwards of 1 million people, regardless of attacking Libya and having Hillary Clinton giggling funny that Gaddafi got sodomized with a knife. Deregulation of the financial industry, the cutting of taxes, the saving 90% of the Bush tax cuts in the law while social programs flounder, the willingness to cut Social Security, the explosion of the prison population. These were Democrats. These were Democrats. Those were also betrayals. That goes against everything, or at the very least, the stated values of the party. And through it all, progressives, terrified of the bigger goblin, continued to vote for the smaller goblin. The problem in this particular case, they saw the real thing. They saw it. They saw somebody who espoused the values that they hold dear, that the Democratic Party has pretty much trampled on. They saw somebody being strong, moral, stating of their information, values, and positions, making this affirmative, hopeful case of, yes, we can do all of these things. You just have to put energy into doing all of those things. He spoke to them. They said Hitler it wasn't so much that people are like awesome orators, like, let's say Hitler, Obama, or whatever, like that they can completely like entice somebody. Usually it's the person is saying something that the person already believes. The fact that they're stating their beliefs that strongly, that it resonates with them. It comes across as being, to some degree, charisma. It's almost like you're reflecting yourself, in a sense. What Sanders was saying was essentially what those people believed and what was in them. Your rejection of them in that way, they took it personal. I took it personal. I did. I took it in a few ways. I took it personal from the standpoint of, wait a minute, you just trampled that guy. You know, we pushed this guy up because we wanted this guy to run and we wanted him to have a fair contest. And you shafted him. You did not give him a fair contest. You cheated him. Empirically, you cheated him. From the other side of it, though, there's also this constitutional argument. Like, wait a minute. Elections are important. Elections are vitally important. We have no other mechanism for choosing who we want to go into office. And when we say in office, understand what we're talking about. We're talking about power. The ability of the state to murder, to kill, to tax, to build highways, to invest in the infrastructure. That's what we're choosing. It's a damn important thing that we do. So the idea that somebody would subvert that system, in any particular way to subvert that system, is unforgivable. You can't do it. And beyond being unforgivable, is being unforgivable in a way that's actually attacking the very ideals that all of those people who were supporting Bernie held. Not just held, from a flesh-to-bone way acknowledged as being right. Your attack hit at the core of who they were. You can't live that down. After all of that took place, that everybody is perfectly aware of, you choose Tom Perez. I know you guys kept saying unity, but nobody believed that. And it's this thing of, why would they need to stress unity if there was unity? The very fact that you're making the argument shows that you're lying to us. Otherwise, you wouldn't be making the argument. So you're aware of it. Like, I'm making this case because I kind of want to get it across to people. I've said I want this party to implode, and this is kind of why. They knew full well that there was a proxy war going on between Keith Ellison and Perez. Now, however they try to reframe that and everything else, they full well understood that the public, particularly progressives, saw this race as to some degree a mea culpa. And look, it wasn't necessarily mea culpa to me. It was kind of this thing of, well, Keith Ellison is obviously your best chance, because if you're trying to get progressives to come back to the party, those 10, 15 million people that left, the only person who gets you there is Ellison. Perez doesn't apply, particularly since he was quote-unquote touched by Obama. They knew it. They didn't care. And look, I know they may be evaluating this differently than I did, but certainly, regardless of how they were evaluating it, at the very least they knew that that's how some aspect of society was evaluating it. The aspect of society that is, or perhaps was, their base. The people who voted for him, the people who put him in power. They didn't care. They didn't care. So, beyond that caring, it's like, yeah, we're putting Ellison up anyway. They've lied for the past 2 months. And in addition to lying overtly for the past 2 months, at no point did they ever accept the fact that they cheated Bernie Sanders. And not just not accepting it, vocally arguing that it did not happen. But everybody knows that it happened. Everybody also knows that they were making the argument for the people who were voting, because those guys were Democratic insiders. The Hillaryites, the Obamaites, those are the people they needed to dance for and to please. So that's the thing that they were singing. But again, it doesn't really matter. They were actively lying to people. The best liar won. So, support the party if you want. At one turn after the other. It's like, how long are you going to be this abused spouse? How long? That's the question. The person who's putting up the announcements, by the way, the current head of the DNC, Donna Brazile, she was the one that was fired from CNN for passing notes to Hillary about some of the questions that was going to be there. and then lied about it immediately when she was caught. Um, Again, you even saw emails her saying, I'm here for whatever you need. Whatever you need, I got you. So the person who was too corrupt to work at CNN, the person who was essentially passing information to the other campaign, cheating, that person is still the head of the DNC committee, or at the very least was a few minutes until maybe a few hours ago. Not only did they cheat, they kept the remnants of the cheating in the DNC. Ellison, at the very least, I make this case. At the very least, having Tom Perez makes my argument a hell of a lot easier. Leave that party. The party needs to implode. There's one more piece to this.
The results are 235 for Mr. Perez and 200 for Mr. Ellison. It is my great honor it is now my honor now to present the gavel, the next chair of the Democratic National Committee, to Mr. Tom Perez. Mr. Perez, congratulations.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Folks, I would like to begin by making a motion. It's a motion that I have discussed with a good friend, and his name is Keith Ellison. And the motion I would like to make to the body is the motion suspending the rules, if I may, to appoint Keith Ellison Deputy Chair of the Democratic National Committee. Now, I'm not sure. Tell me the phrase I'm supposed to utter. That was fine. Okay. I'm not. Did I hear?
Okay. So they made Ellison deputy. What is it called? Deputy chair. Man, they think, oh, dude, they're insulting your intelligence. They are. They think they're so fucking clever. So think of it this way. You understand that you're in a bit of a quagmire. You screwed up. And in screwing up, you created a situation where a large part of people that's in your base, that you depend on for votes, dislikes you. Now, you're aware of that. But you can't necessarily, or at the very least, you're not going to do anything to really assuage it. So you pretend that it doesn't exist. You pretend that everybody's united. And you keep moving. You pretend that the fact that there's proxy wars going on in the DNC thing, you pretend that doesn't exist either. Nothing exists. It's just the race. Certainly they wanted Tom Perez. They did. I mean, Obama appointed him, Joe Biden, somebody else. They wanted Perez. They felt like Ellison was a little too on the Bernie wing. But you know that if you choose Perez, you've lost your party. Or at the very least, a substantial portion of your party. I have an idea. Let's still give it to Perez. But let's make Ellison deputy? Yeah, deputy. Let's make him a deputy. See? They'll like that, right? They'll like it. It's compromise. We're being moderates. No. This is absurd. This is absolutely absurd. No. No. Why are you staying with the Democratic Party? Look, and I'm not necessarily saying, damn sure that's saying about Republicans. They're far, far worse. I guess the point I'm making is, they think you're stupid. They do, I'm sorry. They think you're stupid. They think you're an idiot. They think that, we don't want to change the party. We don't want to change who we really are. All right, let's put in some window dressing. Get Tom Perez up there. But also make sure Ellison is kind of there so they can rub off on him a little bit. So it makes it look like we're trying to change. This is status quo. This is status quo. Keeping the party the same, the failure that it's been for the past X number of years. That's the goal. Or at the very least, it's not necessarily the goal, but it's more important to them than making actual substantial changes. So they're willing to do the brinksmanship of maybe losing by only going just enough to be a little bit better. That is what the Democratic Party is. Tom Perez is the guy that they chose, the guy who ran away when was asked about Israel, the guy who didn't have the balls to... Look, all I mean is, if they wanted to destroy their party, they've just done. Good job, guys. Thanks, guys.